Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Witch Hat Atelier. A little bit late this week, but I've been busy with a different project of mine, and it kinda consumed all of my waking hours. So, we are here right now with episode 10. Briefly, I thought that we are at episode 11, and I was very afraid because that would mean that we don't have that many episodes left, and I didn't know if we managed to do, anything big and significant in that time. But because this is episode 10, then I think by episode 12 or 13, I believe this show is, we might have a worthy finale, right? There's gonna be enough time for a worthy finale. Or alternatively, and I wouldn't be all that mad, time for a cliffhanger and an announcement of another season. I would very gladly take that as well. But we are in episode 10, not in episode 11. So, who knows what's gonna happen, really? In the previous episode, we spent a little bit time slice of lifing, mostly getting a little bit of characterization for Riche, who, as it turns out, doesn't really like doing things that people tell her she must do, right? She's kind of rebellious like that. She doesn't really want to go through any sorts of tests, any sorts of, things like that. She just wants to use magic and have fun, basically. So we can already tell that there is something going on there, right? There is some past that maybe a little bit like the opposite of Agot's, right? Where people were putting so much pressure on Agot, meanwhile Riche maybe was, I don't know. We'll see. We'll learn about it in the future, I don't doubt. Then we had Qifrey try to use the ink vial to track the Brim Hat's back, and he kind of forgot that he's up against very powerful witches, and he triggered a safety measure because of course he did, because he didn't think of that. I don't know why. Like, he's been obsessed about brim hats all this time. Like, you'd think that he would exercise some caution, right? But no, he triggered a trap that enclosed him in a column of water and gave him nerve damage with electricity. Then Iguin arrived, broke the vial, and there goes Qifrey's lead. There's nothing left. He mind wiped an old man for nothing, essentially. So that was fun. Qifrey then went to get some herbs to help with his nerve damage. Brush Buddy was accompanying him. We had a lot of scenes with Brush Buddy. That was cute. That was fun. And lastly, what happened in the episode was Coco fell ill, probably with Japanese cold, so, could be potentially deadly. So Qifrey rushed her on that cool, board, like a surfboard with a stick, and it was levitating, and he was propelling himself with a stick. That was cool. I really like when magic is used in mundane kind of ways like that, right? It's not a board, it's not a vehicle that is self-propelled, that has who knows what kinds of magic on it. It has a simple levitation spell, and you use a stick to propel yourself. I know why, but I just really like it for that reason. And in the hospital, well, in front of the hospital, we met Tarta. We also got a little bit of insight into Tarta's daily life, playing around with friends and not knowing what to say to them, asking, hey, aren't you a witch's apprentice? Why aren't you a witch? So that's something, right? He really wants to be a witch, and he is, I feel, kind of bitter that he cannot be. Like, he understands why, kind of on like an intellectual level, but he doesn't necessarily accept that. So, another character that has a potential to have some amazing backstory. Like, I don't think there's been a single character in this show so far that would be described as simple. Like, so far, the Knights Morales, perhaps, Estes is kinda the simplest one, right? He can be described as Ruru, and that's it. But probably they're gonna give us some backstory for him as well, so who knows what's gonna happen in the future. For a moment I was afraid that I'm not recording, but no, thankfully I very much am. Yeah, and Tarta started asking questions of Qifrey, so we see how that happens. Either he's going to get mind wiped, or I don't know, Qifrey is gonna reveal some fake secret to him, like, oh, it was it was a beacon that's visible only to witches who have special eyes, and you, Tarta, you have special eyes. Congratulations. Or I know how he's getting out of it without mind wiping Tarta, but we'll see. Oh, and apparently this is also the hospital where the kid that the girls rescued from the raging waters went. Castas? Yeah, I think his name was Castas. So we might meet an old friend. That's gonna be something, I guess. I don't want to say interesting because Castas was, I don't want to say a throwaway character, but kinda, right? Like, oh, we have a situation, there are people in a situation, we rescue them and we never see them again. So I wonder if we're even gonna see him. But we'll see all about it in this episode, so how about we just watch it, shall we? To do that, you're gonna need your subs to follow along with me, unless you don't wanna bother and you wanna watch a picture-in-picture version. In that case, that's on my Patreon down in the description below. Also, here is my Patreon username, you can go there as well. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show and to hear my own voice. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, because nothing helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 10 of Witch Hat Atelier in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you're very mature for your age. About the flash or about your eyes? Okay. Overwhelm him. Overwhelm him. That's a way to avoid questioning. Saved. I told you it's Japanese cold. It's deadlier than motherfucking Ebola. True. Qifrey is like anything but, so it's not gonna be easy for him. What's that? Cooling spell? Waking spell? Cooling spell. Okay. Yeah. We saw the nightmare she had. Hmm. Your hat. You forgot your hat. Oh, is he gonna come back for his hat and see something he shouldn't have? Like he's gonna stumble upon Egwene by Coco's bed or something? Imagine if you could get like a tattoo that proves you're a witch. Evaporative cooling, I assume. True. You could probably make a device that cools the air, like a magic AC. Hmm, true. But I'm I was kind of getting the vibe of Qifrey being like, and that's why witches don't mingle with regular humans because they always ask us for shit. Like there was this guy who implied that he would like a cooling spell. Then there's this one who'd like to have the fire extinguished. What's next, right? I was kind of getting that vibe, but maybe not. Burn the witches. Oh, and there's nobody left at the hospital. What's going on? Nightmare? Nightmare. Yeah, teary eyes, moaning. Well, she's in a hospital. She's clearly not. Uh, Nope. Everybody went to help the burn victims. Which is very irresponsible on the part of the doctors here. Like, they should have left at least, like, a nurse. How are you gonna recognize it? It's not in order. It's not in the same vials, probably. Yeah. Well, again, that's... yeah. What the fuck is up with adults in this show? Every single one is less responsible from the other. Okay, with dyes, but he can use, like, basic black ink. Like, we know that there are colored inks, sure, but he can just label them and use them. And have a big bottle of plain black ink and still cast spells with plain black ink. Okay, he can use magical devices, so, you know, that's another thing he can do. How? By feel? One of those. Don't you know what color it has, at least, you know, as a means of description? Like, I know that red would be essentially meaningless to him, but he should remember that a certain ingredient is red. Then he could show those three to Coco and say, hey, Coco, which one's red? But maybe he didn't see the point of learning what color each thing is, since he can't see color anyway. Nice and chunky. Coco likes chunky pens. What you drafting? Yeah, cooling spell or... color vision spell? Like, color identification spell? Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to like reassemble powder into the original form, which means that yeah, Tarta's gonna be able to recognize it. Uh Ooh. Tarta is going to draw it. Would you look at that? He can cast spells. What'd I tell ya? You don't need color vision to draw in black and fucking white. True. No, you're onto something here. Yeah. Go and do it. Ooh, the light slowly shining more and more on his witch hat. That's some nice symbolism. I like how he grabs the paper like you would a piece of wood to see if it's straight. That's a lot of W's. Did you close the circle? You did. He made a whole ass tree. Okay, it's temporary. I thought they're gonna have to, like, re-dry and re-crash every single thing now. And his hat is fully in the light now. How do you know where the storage is? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Tranquil-leaf? Probably. Yeah, they would probably keep a big, huge jar of it. Okay. One responsible adult in this whole fucking show. Okay, so it's on purpose. Okay. Them being unlabeled is on purpose. Nice. Actually, I like it. I like this explanation. A? A? Maybe? Yeah? He's Coco's apprentice, essentially. She can't take apprentices until she completes all the, 5 tests, sure. But, it's not like she's not skimming the legal boundaries of this world already. So apprentices do tend to have matching cloaks. I mean, like, rebuilding a wall would actually be easy. We've seen you do it in the last episode. Just whoosh, wall. You're also a witch, mate. If only by technicality. Oh, there's the guard. Mind wipe. Gaslight girl boss. I forgot the third one. Oh, that's cool. I love those magical implements that are so, mechanical by nature. Huh? Fucking finally! Fucking finally! She's finally getting that fucking pen! Uh, Qifrey didn't give her one, she's gonna get one from Tarta. And that's it. That was a fun episode. How about sleeping herbs? What helps with sleep? Melissa. Or whatever it's... I think it's called Melissa. Yeah? Yeah, you might be onto something here. Some dried lavender in the pillow. That also helps with sleep. Ooh, another brim hat. Mmm. Oh! That's cool. Okay. The test in the Serpent Back Cave. So, we know what's gonna be the finale, right? A fight of some sort between Coco and the new Brim Hat. And we also know what's gonna happen now. We're gonna watch this episode again. Not all that much happened, all things considered, in this episode, but good and fun and important things did. Yeah, this is a great way to discourage him from asking questions. It's I don't remember if it was a joke or something. Either a joke or some sort of like Reddit post or 4chan post or something where a dude got attacked like in some dark alley at knife point or something, and then he just completely undressed and started approaching the attacker, and the attacker just fled. It's basically this. Just overwhelm them. Cold, yeah. Japanese cold is no laughing matter. We all know that. She's still just a child. The adults in her life need to be more attentive. You tell him. You fucking tell him. Cooling spell. Levitation. Double water and some like dispersion spells, I guess, maybe. Something like that. Works by evaporative cooling, probably. We haven't seen any ice spells, have we? No, we haven't. Huh. I wonder if ice has its... Ice probably doesn't have its specific seal. Some of the, like, sigils here, those, like, open X's, or the T's maybe, or the, like... I don't know. Yeah, those are the two only sigils besides water and wind. Some of them might be, like, lower temperature? Maybe that's how it works. Yeah, those two T's would be like temperature down and the X's would be like disperse. Something like that. So it doesn't fully work by evaporative cooling. It works also by the water being cold. Plain and simply. Yeah, another excuse. Believable, at least. And Tarta forgetting his hat. For a second there, his gaze was like ice. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't my imagination. You're getting gaslit, my boy. You're getting heavily gaslit in this episode. Where's your pointed hat? You can't pass unless you prove you're a witch. You'd think there'd be some other way to prove it. Like, well, I was about to say some sort of like witch ID or something, but their hats are basically their IDs. Not in that they contain their specific information, but in that they prove that they are witches. But alas, he lost it. You've made this room so nice and cool. Isn't magic amazing? Magic can cure disease, so this is the best I can do. I wish I could have it, I'm sure. I don't fully get it here. Like, the spell that Qifrey drew was not complex. Like, it was not a spell that takes effort and precision and whatnot. He could reasonably draw the spell on a piece of paper, cut it in half, give it to the dude and say, hey, if you want to cool down the room, just put those halves together and the room's gonna cool down. It's not a big deal. And we later also, after the fire is done, we see those two other witches talk to Qifrey about how, oh, the outsiders think it's so easy and simple. And it kinda is, right? Like, ultimately, the magic system in this show is very easy and simple. It doesn't require any particular reagents. It doesn't require any, like, mana or energy or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily require, like, sacrificing anything. You just draw a circle with a spell, then the spell works. It's no biggie. There's not much to it. So, right? So I really don't know why Qifrey is so apprehensive. You're a witch and you use water. Come and help us put out the fire. You just help people in trouble, don't you? And again, it feels like he doesn't want to do it. But putting out the fire should not be hard with a spell. Like, you draw a big circle with a water sigil and like a levitation sigil and a couple of arrows, and you point it at the building and it goes and the fire is gone. I know, there is some discrepancy here in my mind between how simple magic is to cast in this show and between how hard, for some reason, Qifrey makes it. Also, I'm going to slightly increase the opacity here because it's dark and you can barely see anything. I was putting on a brave front. I'm actually scared to be alone. Yeah, she was absolutely having a nightmare. Tears in her eyes, or like, tell us everything we need to know. There was a fire. Medicine to bring the fever down. Tranquil. Yeah, initially I was really ragging on the people running this hospital, not labeling their stuff, but it actually makes sense, right? Like, if you label those clearly, then there's absolutely gonna be someone who's like, oh, I heard that Brimgo powder helps with this from someone. They don't know nothing. There's fucking doctors here. I'm gonna get the Brimgo powder and give it to my wife, and she's gonna be all better. God damn it! and then she's not gonna get all better because Brimgo powder is the equivalent of fucking ivermectin or something, right? I can absolutely see that happening, and because that's kind of what we observe, like in real life. People know medicine, people can look up medicine, can look up what effects it has, and so on and so forth. And very often they walk into a doctor's office and they already know what they want to take without even like consulting the doctor, without getting any, examination. They're walking in and they're like, give me fucking, what is this? Ramiprilum. Give me some fucking Ramiprilum, doctor. And doctor's like, wait, what? Let's get some tests. And no, give me Ramiprilum. Give me antibiotics. Oh, that's the fucking best. You got a viral infection? Give me antibiotics. Fucking always. Antibiotics, honestly, for some reason, and I noticed mostly among boomers, are treated as some sort of panaceum. Like, no matter what you're sick with, you get antibiotics. And they often, like, hoard antibiotics that they haven't finished. Like, when the doctor tells you to get antibiotics, you finish the antibiotics, even if you're feeling well. There's a specific amount of them in a package, and you're supposed to take them all, unless the doctor specifies otherwise. But people I often see, they're like, oh, the whatever I was ill with passed after 5 days. I have 3 antibiotic pills left. I'm gonna leave them be just in case. And then they get a flu, which is a viral infection, and they take the remaining 5 antibiotics for no fucking reason at all. I've been observing it in my own family. Like, I'm sick with like flu or cold or something, and my mom's like, oh well, I had strep throat and I had antibiotics. Do you want some antibiotics? No. It's a viral infection. Antibiotics ain't gonna do shit. They're anti-bio. Viruses are not exactly bio. Viruses cannot be killed because they're not alive. You would need to take antiviral drugs, but that's a whole other thing. Regardless, I can understand the hospital staff here. That's what I wanted to say. Can other people just tell them all apart by their color? Yeah, and probably location in the box. Kinda like Tarta has his system, right? He knows where each vial is and what shape that vial is. People in this hospital are probably like, oh, Thornberry is at A3, and they know that it's at A3, and they grab that vial. People assume everyone sees the world the same way they do. Right. Just stick with the things you can do. And here's the thing, he can cast spells. It was proven in this episode that he can cast spells. But there's some weird ass stigma that he cannot. Like, nothing's physically stopping him. Nothing's physically stopping him from learning how to write spells. I think this is a part of this avalanche that Aesthis was so afraid of, right? It was established for years that people with silver wash, they can't cast spells. But here comes Coco, and she's like, hey, you can cast spells. And the silver wash guy tries to cast spells, and shit, he can cast spells. What? Have the Knights Morales and the government been lying to us all this time? Vive la révolution! Bring out the guillotine! Yeah, it's like that little, small pebble slowly rolling down. I can't even see a way forward. And here comes Coco. Grandpa always uses one when he's making ink. I can use this to channel out the liquid from the medicine. Okay, I understand. For a moment, I didn't know what's going on here. Like, what exactly is he trying to do? I thought that maybe like he can use this to feel water, and he like pours some medicine into it, and it's like, yeah, that's paracetamol or something. But no, all of the medicine here in those vials is liquid. He's removing all the liquid, and he's only left with powders and crystals and other things that like dissolve, right? Things that are not water, which helps him narrow down, yeah, what's what, by knowing that this is powder, this is crystal. Yep, I see it now. It leaves 3. If you want to do something you can't otherwise do, that's where magic comes in. Indeed. Spell that can help us both. Sigil of Earth that undoes the crushing. Huh. Also, am I the only one who finds it interesting that this particular screen has like a heavy brim hat vibe to it? Like the patterns all around. We kinda often see them on brim hats clothing and in scenes where brim hats appear, right? Maybe I'm onto something, maybe not. If you invert it, yep, it uncrushes the ingredients. You need it drawn more precisely. And he already has ideas about magic. He would be a good apprentice, I feel. Like, if he was given a chance, if he was taken in by Qifrey, for example, I can absolutely see Tarta having a lot of potential. Right? Immediately figuring out that, hey, this spell kind of only works in like 2 dimensions, but it has to work in 3, so if I add a couple more W's, right, he's already thinking with portals, so to speak. If you adjust a spell in a way that makes it work, it becomes your spell. Yeah, you become a witch. And this... oh, come on. Where was it? This cool scene, right? More and more light shining onto his hat, the symbol of his witchhood. Yeah, he's a good witch. He's absolutely would make a good witch. Also, I really like the fact that the spell that ultimately helps him is a spell that plays to his strengths, not against his weaknesses. Right? His strength is that he's able to recognize all those ingredients, all those plants, even with his grayscale vision. And so this plays to his strengths. This magic circle allows him to see the original form of any ingredient, and with his encyclopedic knowledge, he's able to tell what's what. Right? It plays to his strengths. It doesn't play against his weaknesses, like, for example, a spell that tells him the color of what he puts to it. Right? Or a spell that gives him color vision, even. Those would be spells, solutions that play against his weaknesses, but we don't focus on those weaknesses. We focus on his strengths. I like it. I like it. The focus is not on that Tarta doesn't have color vision. The focus is on that Tarta can recognize any sort of plant by just seeing its shape. Cool. I enjoy. It's just how they're drawn in the books. Yeah. Everything I've learned is showing me the answer. Yep. Playing exactly to his strengths. He would never leave a hospital abandoned. Sure. Medicine can be poisoned in the wrong circumstances. Yeah, in the wrong circumstances and in the wrong dosage, in the wrong like form. There is that. I can't remember what it was, but there was that medicine that was used either as a painkiller or as an antipyretic. Can't quite recall, but basically there was a whole batch that of it released that had a form of the active substance that was anti-chiral instead of chiral, right? Like the molecule was spinning not this way but the other way, and that was like poison, and many people fell ill, and some of them, I believe, even died. No, it was something that was given to pregnant women, I think, and there was the effects of that anti-chiral one was that there was something wrong with their children, something like that, right? But yeah, there are all sorts of interactions between medicine. There are all sorts of like dosage things. Fucking fentanyl in very low doses is legitimately used as a painkiller, right? That's the legitimate use for it. Take too much and it makes you a resident of Los Angeles. Take way too much and it kills you, right? There's proper dosage and proper interactions. I can't take most of my medicine with grapefruit because it has bad interactions with grapefruit. I can't take melatonin with it because it has bad interactions with melatonin. So, and those are very benign, like eating a fucking grapefruit and then you take a medicine and it works way too strong. Or I get my medicine and I get melatonin in the evening and I'm like asleep for 14 hours because it compounds. But in this case, Trankleaf was the correct choice. Yeah, but would it have been in a correct dosage? The correct way of, serving it? Do you dissolve it in water, or do you dissolve it in alcohol, or do you dissolve it in honey, I guess, right? Witch's apprentice. Yeah, he very much is a witch's apprentice. The fire's out, so can I leave the rest to you? The witches can go presto change. Still need to clean up the side. The witches can go presto change and have it done in flash. Kinda? Like, kinda? It's not easy or simple, not one bit. If it were, we wouldn't have to worry or suffer as we do. I mean, again, like, you don't have to worry about starvation because you could probably magic a fucking tomato plant out of the ground. You don't have to worry about water because you can magic water into existence. You don't have to worry about money because you can earn your keep by doing magic. You don't have to worry about the roof over your head because you can magic it into existence. You don't really have much to worry about as a witch. As a, like a regular bog standard witch who's somewhere in the background. We're not talking about the main characters here, of course. And Sapphire, well, that's kinda, I mean, healing magic is kinda locked from them. they can't legally use healing magic. If they were able to use healing magic, I would also dispute that, but they aren't able to use healing magic, so yeah, kinda, sorta. But still, very many things are way much easier to a witch than to a regular person, so I really don't get this, oh, we have it hard, us witches. We have it hard. No. No, not really. No, not really. Not at all. Flash of light. Gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss. I have to look into that powerful light again on my own. That could cause problems to Tarta. Yeah, that could cause problems. I like how Coco is looking at the spell, trying to already like figure out what it is, how it works, how could she use it for her own purposes. Also, interesting that we don't really see Qifrey's face here. Like, we can't know what he's thinking about. Is he angry? Is he, like, concerned about Tarta potentially looking into that thing? Is he happy about Coco being healed? We don't really know what's going on in his head. I'm going to make a pen for you, then I'll use my own magic to cross this river. Attaboy! Attaboy. Like, again, this episode proved that Tarta can do magic. There's nothing stopping him from making himself a pair of silk boots, for example. Absolutely nothing stopping him from doing so. Except this, like, stigma hammered into his head that you can't do it. That stigma has been completely broken by Coco, showing him that yes, he can. He has access to pens, he has access to ink, he has access to paper. He can do the same kind of magic that any other witch can do. Essentially. The only thing that would be potentially hard is using colored ink, but then again, Tarta can use a system, different shapes of vials, fucking labels, right? Different position in his, like, ink shelf or whatever, right? He can work against that, and we haven't really seen anybody use colored ink yet, so safe to assume that 99% of magic is done with black ink. And if the difference is between being able to cast 99% of magic or not casting any at all, I'd say everybody would take 99%. Honestly. So yeah, this is small little pebble in the whole fucking avalanche. Think I'll be okay now. Found a ray of hope, yeah. Drawing the signs backwards inverts their effect. Forbidden spells must be the same way. Yeah, if you draw an inverse crystallization spell, you're gonna get your mother uncrystallized. Hopefully. She would probably have to... she would have to try. That's an interesting topic. Like, she would have to experiment, and I don't think she would be willing to experiment on her mother. So something tells me that in the future she will have to, like, cast a crystallization spell, forbidden magic, on, like, an apple, and then try to decrystallize, then repeat it until she gets it. She's gonna have to cast a lot of forbidden spells, isn't she? That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be interesting. Seems your gift didn't work out very well. The pointed caps aren't all fools. We must take further action as an embodiment of forbidden magic. Yeah, I think embodiment here is quite literal. I think she has lots of tattoos on her body. One of them at least makes her invisible. Probably what's going on. We know that casting magic on your own body is forbidden, So, like, having tattoos done with magic ink is like the ultimate form of forbidden magic, in a way. Because not only are you using forbidden spells, you're also engraving them in your own flesh. Huh. When an apprentice leaves their master's protection during a test, that is when we must strike. The test in Serpentback Cave. Okay, so it's scheduled for 13 episodes. So episode 11 is gonna be the beginning of the test. Episode 12 is going to probably be the invisible one getting involved, and the finale is Coco coming back successfully from the test and Tarta bringing her the pen. Unless Tarta brings her the pen before the test begins. Like, it could be that the next episode is going to start the test only in, like, the second half. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. But yeah. Do I want to note something down? Kinda want to note down that Tarta is gonna be a good and proper witch. Tarta will start casting spells. Shadow Wizard Bunny Gang, we love casting spells. Alrighty. Well, that was a cool episode. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much because it kinda, in more ways than one, went against my comments and against things that I kind of... Whoa, no. Against the things that I kinda, maybe not complained about, but kinda took note of. Like, I took note of the fact that Tarta can draw spells, there's nothing stopping him. And here we see, yes, Tarta can actually be drawing spells. It's actually a plot point, right? It's not an omission on the part of the author, it's not it's not a plot hole, no, it's a plot point. That the society told Tarta that he cannot cast spells, but here comes Coco the Avalanche and tells him you can cast spells, and he tries casting spells and he can cast spells, right? Undoing a lot of the damage that the witch society kind of did, in a way. And the smaller thing was my comment about stupid, irresponsible adults not labeling medicine, and it turns out that there was a very good reason for that. Cool, I like it. I always like it when I have a complaint about something, and then it's explained in a way where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I agree. I get it. I can see that. Complaint rescinded. I like it. I really enjoyed today's episode because it shows how much of a force of change Coco is. For a while, I thought that maybe she gets to the brim hat side. She gets, like, I know, she gets a promise of, hey, we're gonna undo your mother's curse if you join our little atelier, and she does it, and she learns forbidden magic, and then, like, gives Tarta tattoos around his eyes that let him see in color or something like that. But I actually prefer the way it was done, where Coco taught him how to make the spell that plays into his strengths. Good. Good. Me like you very much. This was a good episode. Very good episode. I enjoyed myself a lot. But right now, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. But maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that. If so, say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. Spoilers can go to my Discord here, also in the description. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, and click the bell, of course, support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon you get picture-in-picture versions of every video I release, and if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing to do so, and it helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful supporters: QB, Jack Witt, AL, Floor, Nightingale, Dr. Watt, Fassel, and Hannes Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to get Japanese cold. I probably already said that.